Well, today's episode is going to be a little interesting. As we know, it's Thursday. We're going to be reviewing once again MLW. As you know, with the aftermath after Battle Riot IV, a lot of interesting things have taken place. Storylines being built for upcoming matches. And of course, Impact Wrestling. As you know, we're almost close to Overdrive, where we're going to have some interesting matches. But once again, we're still building up with more storylines and all that stuff. But first things first, we're going to review two past events recently by Tokyo Joshi Pro. The first one is called the Mountaintop 2022 and the Autumn Tour as well, which took place the Mountaintop took place on the 29th of October and Autumn Tour took place on the 6th of November. But also we got some news updates that we're definitely going to be talking about what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, the Mountaintop, which took place on the 29th of October. Now, I know we're like a month away from that, but I did not see this. I don't know if anybody's thought what happened to it or what took place. So let's get to it. Our first match took place. It was Yoshiko Hasegawa teaming up with Nao Kakuta to take on Raku and Yuki Inoi. Now, this was a very interesting matchup because Yoshiko, she's originally right now currently with Ganbare Pro. I know that she teamed up with Nao Kakuta before in the Ganbare Pro event. But it's nice to see she's teamed up. But however, this is a bit different dynamic where she's facing Raku, who we all know she can put people to sleep by singing a little lullaby and also do the little train express. But also you got Yuki Inoi, who is making a name for herself now that she's a singles competitor. So I thought it was a pretty good dynamic match. But it was Yuki Inoi who with a somewhat of a DDT type. Instead of like her going back, she slams her body down with her to pick up the win onto Yoshiko, so that gives her the W. Next up, we got Kaya Toribami and Mahito Kiru taking on Julia Nagona and Miyu Yamashita. Now, I like this dynamic between those two because, of course, they both have one thing in common, and they're both martial artists. If you guys didn't know that, then you guys are missing out. But it was a very interesting. I know that from my understanding that Miyu Yamashita has been training with her since before she came to Tokyo Joshi Pro, but I thought there was some great moments. However, seeing Julia with her karate moves, that always helps. But however, in this particular case, it was Yumi Ohka with the attitude adjustment onto Kaya that picked up the win. So let's say the Team Karate won this one. Next up, we got a 6-person tag match. We got Haruna Neko, Suzumi, and Mizuki taking on Pam Harajuku, Hyper Misao, and Shoko Nakajima. Different dynamics of each girl's how there is. Pam, she's a little child. All this. Suzumi, she is a fantastic wrestler. She is growing up. Mizuki, we know her reputation being an assassin type, but she's facing Pam Harajuku, a little selfish girl, and then of course Hyper Misao, the resident superhero, who A, doesn't like Mizuki, and B, she cheats. And of course there's big kaiju, Shoko Nakajima. But one thing that was very interesting is Pam Harajuku held on long as possible onto Mizuki, but Mizuki with the double foot stomp onto the abdomen of Pam Harajuku picked up the win. Our next match, we got Arisu Endo and Hikaru Noa taking on Yuki Arai and Rika Tatsumi. Now, I was like interested on the dynamic between Yuki Arai and Rika Tatsumi. As you know, Rika, former tag champion herself, Yuki, the current tag champion with Saki Akai. Um, I was really impressed how Arisu Endo really stepped up her game, but it was not enough due to the fact that she was put on a dragon sleeper by Rika Tatsumi, forcing her to tap out. Next up, we got Maki Ito and Yuki Kamifuku, a somewhat version of the Ito Respect Army, taking on the newest AEW member on the roster, Willow Nightingale, teaming up with Yuka Sakazaki. I have to say it's a very interesting team up between those two. Now keep in mind Yuka Sakazaki have been in AEW before. And seeing Willow there is kind of fun. Everybody, I think they're getting on the bandwagon for Willow Nightingale, but don't count her out. And I have to say it's great to see her there. As you know, recently she was supposed to be in Tokyo Joshi Pro, but unable to do so because of her visa issues, and now she's there. So, but she did pretty well. But she put the Doctor Bomb onto Yuki Kamifuku and picked up the win. So I think she really made a good impression with the fan base there. Now our main event, this is the International Princess Championship. Now keep in mind, Miyu Watanabe won this title at Wrestle Princess 3 earlier in October. At some point before this day and between when she won the belt all the way to the 29th, Moka Miyamoto stepped up to issue the challenge for the belt. Now, I don't know if it was the right decision because Moka, she hasn't stepped up to the plate to be already a fish to be in the title run, but I think Watanabe felt like, okay, let's just go for it. And I have to say, Miyamoto really stood there very well, but I don't think she, right now, in my opinion, she's nowhere ready, but I know she will become a champion. So, but however, it was Miyu Watanabe with the teardrop that sealed the deal for her to win. So she picked up the W. Now, did I expect that there was going to be someone coming out to issue a challenge? No. But that's going to be for another time. So I think that's what we have right now for this particular show day of Tokyo Joshi Pro. Let's move on with Autumn Tour. Okay, so we got Autumn Tour with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. This took place on November 6th. Opened up singles competition with Kaya Toribami taking on Hikari Noa. Now, if you guys ever seen Kaya Toribami, on rare occasions she won maybe single matches once in a while, but Hikari Noa has much better experience. But I can tell you this match ended with the Blizzard Suplex by Hikari Noa. 1, 2, 3. She won. Next up, we got Pam Harajuku versus Yuki Kamifuku. Now, you know Pam Harajuku, she's an absolute terror in the ring, acting like a child. But when it comes to Yuki Kamifuku, she is not there to play around. Not to mention, she is tall as hell and has long legs. But you can guess how that match ended. She pulled off a somewhat of a famouser, and boom! Good night, Pam Harajuku. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's done. Next up, we got Arisu Endo teaming up with Moka Miyamoto to take on Raku and Yuki Inoue. Now, these two have becoming good friends ever since then, but it was great to see that they can team up well. Now, I have to say, recently I have with Yuki Inoue, she has developed now more and more better. Now, I can say that maybe, hopefully, she would team up with Raku and maybe go for the tag titles, but I would like to see her challenge for a singles run. That is something we can definitely see that in the near future. But seeing her with Raku changed everything. But once again, she did that DDT move onto Arisu Endo picked up the win. Excuse me. My throat's kind of dry. Much better. Okay. Now what was that? Oh yeah. Now we got Aruna Neko versus Rika Tatsumi. Now, you know, Rika Tatsumi, she likes to do things a lot more different than any other wrestler we've seen. Of course, she plays a little dirty, but however, she gets the job done. It was, of course, the running hip attack that sealed the deal for her to win the match. Next up, we got Shoko Nakajima, this time teaming up with Willow Nightingale. I have to say it was a pretty good match. Their opponents is none other with Zuzumi and Miyu Watanabe. Now, ironically, remember I mentioned this before. Willow Nightingale was supposed to be appearing in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling a few months back, but however, due to visa issues, it prevented her. I think that was supposed to be in Wrestle Princess or so, or Grand Princess, I'm not sure. But she was supposed to face Miyu Watanabe. And I have to say, I'm kind of curious how that match would have been, because you've seen the strength of Miyu Watanabe. She is fantastic. You know, people highly speak of her, but I was surprised that Miyu Watanabe was able to put her in the spinning ground for long as possible, because, you know, Willow Nightingale, she is a big woman. But yes, but fortunately it was Dr. Bomb that sealed the deal for Willow Nightingale to put away Zuzumi, giving her and Shoko Nakajima the win. Now, our main event, we have Hyper Misawa teaming up with Maki Ito and Miyu Watanabe. Miyu Yamashita, my bad, taking on Mahito Kiru, Mizuki, and Yuka Sakasaki. Now, you probably can guess with the very fun tricks by Hyper Misawa, she brought in a suitcase. Apparently a suitcase that Yamashita claims that she lost, but apparently she was only promoting herself because, as you guys know this or not, Hyper Misawa will be on her way to the UK to participate in Wrestle Queensdom. I have to say that's going to be interesting. But the match itself was pretty well, but I was surprised that it was Hyper Misawa who picked up the win onto Kiru, and it sealed the deal. So that's how it ended right there with Tokyo Joshi Pro. I believe it's time to move on with MLW. Okay, MLW, as you know, they're in their new season. Right now we're in Fusion 154. Opened up with the Samoan SWAT team consistent of Fatu, Lance, and Juicy Finau. They were entering the building, but one of Cesar Duran's henchmen was on the door trying to prevent them from coming. But what happened is that henchman got punched in the nuts by Microman, and I think Microman made a good impression to the SWAT team. I think they like it. They're like, you know what, man? You go in right first. So I think they found a new best friend. I mean, I would like to see Microman be like a somewhat of an honorary member of the Samoan SWAT team. That would be cool. So anyway, moving on. Now, our opening match is for the MLW World Middleweight title. We have Lince Dorada versus La Estrella versus Aries versus Myron Reed, along with that creep, Mr. Thomas. Now, I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, Mr. Thomas is going to get in the way. But no, I feel like maybe Myron Reed was able to do things on his own. But I think many people are saying you made a piss poor decision. Align yourself with Alex Kane. And that's something that, of course, many people can say. But at the moment, you would have thought there was going to we could have had a new champion. But no, Myron Reed pulled off a double, somewhat of a cloud cutter onto Estrella and Lince Dorada that allowed him to pick up the win. But during the post-match interview, as you know, he is saying that he is the greatest middleweight champion now, and he's saying that he'll send every last one packing. So the obvious question is, who will be the next challenger? That is something we definitely gotta wait and see, because sooner or later, someone who probably is either dangerous or that good can dethrone Myron Reed. Now, Cesar Duran, as you know, he is still dealing with the fact that he is trying everything in his power to get rid of Alex Hammerstone. But once again, Richard Holiday and his squeeze, Alicia Toot, has been demanding for an opportunity. So, but he did tell him, you know you don't like what I did. I actually stomped him, breaking his ribs, making him bleed. You like that. So, of course, Caesar likes what he saw. So, in 2 weeks' time, he will be actually facing Hammerstone for the belt. However, he had another situation he needs to address with. Cesar Duran sent another henchman to deal with another annoying problem in his life, and that is Microman. So, yeah. Now, Casey Navarro, who's just made his return, decided to, of course, take on Mini Abismo Negro. Now, keep in mind, last time we've been seeing Casey getting himself in deep water with Rio 1, aka Enzo Moore, but this time he was able to pull it off. If Mini Abismo would have won, that would have gave Strange Sangre the opportunity, but no. It was Casey Navarro that picked up the win with the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. It was over right there. Now, Hammerstone, as you know, has been medically updated in what's been going on since the last time when I reviewed the Battle Riot 4. X-rays are saying, but apparently that the damage done onto him could potentially make that he won't be able to put in power into his matches. And I think that's the problem. I'm not sure if that's something that Cesar Duran and Richard Holiday are counting on, but we'll see in 2 weeks' time. Now, we do get an interview with Mance Warner, who we haven't seen for 3 years. So he goes out of his way to say that he's been traveling, Mexico, Canada, places like that. So that sort of thing. But seems like he has one person on his mind, and that is, of course, Mads Kruger. Like, I don't know what he is planning on, but that's going to be interesting to see him to take on Mads Kruger. So we'll find out. Now, Rio 1 is not happy with the result of what happened at Battle Riot. He felt that he says, you people saw that I won, it should have been me. No, ref did not see anything. It happened twice. One with Fatu, the other one Rio 1. So he's going to try to make a statement onto him, and I think that's going to that's part of our main event. Now, Lince Dorada and Savio Vega were in the back doing what they were doing, just having a chit-chat until they found Bud Heavy beat up in some storage room or cleaning room, but no one knows what happened. But there was these strange symbols on top of him. Nobody knows what it was. So the real obvious question is, who's behind that? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, as you know, Microman became the new friend of the Samoan SWAT team. So Jacob Fatu and him was having a little talk, apparently saying he would like to invest in something from Microman. And of course, Microman doesn't need to talk much. He just enjoys listening to people's conversations. Now, when Fatu left, one of the Cesar Duran's henchmen shows up with the chain, tried to take out Microman. But luckily, Fatu was there to make the save, and the henchman ran like a little girl. So that's going to be a problem, too, for Cesar Duran. Now, we got the women's featherweight division taking place. We have Claire Carreras taking on Scarlett Bordeaux. This is before she made her way to WWE. She was able to pick up the win with the Scarlet Ladder onto Carreras, and that finished in less than 2 minutes or something like that, or 2 minutes plus. But during the interview, Taya Valkyrie comes out saying that she is impressed by her, that she's willing to put her title on the line, until she was viciously attacked by Brittany Blake, and it doesn't take a true genius what could possibly be. Probably he's trying to send a direct message, putting her on notice that she wants to be the one person to try to dethrone her. That is something that could say. Now, as you know, there's been heated rivalry between both Alex Kane and Davey Richards. Davey Richards, last time, who fought Alex Kane in a time limit draw, tried to show respect to him, but he was attacked by Thomas and, of course, Byron Reed, who turned his back on him. But Alex Kane is trying to say that he is disappointed in him when he retired a couple years back, but he's going to send them packing next week or so, putting the MLW National Championship on the line. So that's going to be interesting to see. Now, our main event, we have Jacob Fatu versus Real One. Real One attacked Fatu before he got into the ring, disabling his knee, but the match ended with, of course, Real One giving Fatu and the ref the low blow and allowing for Fatu to win the match. Personally, I would have called it a no contest, but Fatu and Real One continued to fight. They even Real One ran like a coward when, of course, Fatu tried to get his hands on him, because, of course, Real One says that no one gave him respect, and that kind of felt like he accused Fatu of keying his car. But we don't know if that was the case or it was damaged. We don't know that. But we'll see what happens then. So I think that's pretty much it with MLW. I believe it's time for Impact Wrestling. Okay, Impact Wrestling opened up with championship gold put on the line. We have the Impact Digital Media Championship, or as Cardona likes to call it, the Digital Media World Championship. No, it's not a World Championship. But apparently Joe Hendry last week, as you know, saying that he could give a better attention to the belt, since, of course, Myers and Cardona decide to make a play for the tag team titles. So I'm sure they're gonna think, oh, Joe Hendry, he's a little bitch, he should watch out for all that. But the match was pretty well. But the one X factor in this is Cardona being by Myers' side. But luckily, Rhino and Heath took care of him. But when we thought that Myers thought he had under control, it did not go. It ended up with Hendry applying the standing ovation, and bam! 1, 2, 3, brand new Impact Digital Media Champion. So that's going to be a sweet moment there. And I wonder what else he's going to do with it involving digital media. So that's going to be interesting to find out. Now, our main event is going to be involved for the Knockouts Championship between Giselle Shaw and Jordan Grace. Now, Giselle Shaw is starting to visualize herself thinking that she could win this match. But she used clips from an earlier clip that's going to take place later involving Frankie Kazarian, thinking that is going to be the case. Now, last week we witnessed 2 new members. We got Big Khan, formerly of Ascension, and of course Alan Angels. As you know, a new era of violence is emerging, so I think they're sending a clear message to everyone, putting the entire Impact locker room on notice. Now, our next match is the X Division title tournament. Remember, Frankie Kazarian relinquished the belt to to initiate Option C. Already the tournament has been starting. Our Trey Miguel and Mike Bailey won their respective matches, but they face off each other. This is not the first time. I thought it was a great moment, but however, Kenny King shows up. Now keep in mind, last week Kenny King lost to Mike Bailey. So, as you know, this is not the first time that Mike Bailey and Kenny King have come across each other. The first time, Kenny King thought he won the belt. But however, I think there's probably more to what he is doing. Now, the match would have gone in Mike Bailey's favor if it wasn't for Kenny King attacking Trey Miguel, disqualifying him and allowing for Trey Miguel. But it appears later on it revealed that he sees something about Mike Bailey. I'm not sure what he sees, but he can see it. It looks like this is going to be a much interesting feud. I don't think this is about the title. I think this is something else that I think Kenny King is seeing about Mike Bailey. And we don't know what, but we'll see when we get there. Now, last week, Jessica had a very disappointing loss against Savannah Evans. So Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie tried to cheer her up, saying they can do something better. So next week, they decided to book Jessica in a match against Tasha Steelz, but Jessica ended up that she wanted a drink, and that was all Taya Valkyrie's fault for saying that. Now, Bhupinder Gurjar shows up, taking on G Sharp. I talked about this guy before. Recently he was on the what was it? the Future Stars of Wrestling. But it was a pretty good match, in this one with G Sharp. But it was Boopinger with the top corner spear to end it right there, giving him the win. Now, as you know, Rhino and Heath are going to put the tag titles on the line against Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. So basically, they're giving their little statement. But however, before they can proceed, Rhino saw something that he wanted to get out of his chest, and that is Josh Alexander. Now, once again, the story about Bully Ray continues to spread everywhere. The truth is, Rhino also said that Bully and Rhino know each other for almost for 2 decades. Rhino does give the same response to Josh Alexander, saying, "Do not trust him." So basically, that storyline still continues. Now, as I mentioned that Jessica went to get a drink. She bumps into Alicia Edwards. She's reading a book. I don't know exactly what that helped, but however, Alicia is a little worried. Now, she's not worried because things ended with Honor No More. I think she's more worried about Eddie Edwards' claim that he got rid of PCO, and Alicia thinks that what if this is not over? But Eddie Edwards claimed it is over because last week we saw him that he was buried alive. So we'll find out. Now, our next match, we have Chelsea Green along with Deonna taking on Mickie James. Now, a couple weeks ago, we saw that Chelsea Green picked up a loss to Mickie James in a 6-person tag match. Chelsea Green said that she feels that she cannot succeed if they don't get rid of Mickie James anytime soon. So this was a match. Whether Chelsea Green sent her packing like she did last time, we don't know. But Deonna Purrazzo got caught with her hand in a cookie jar, and the ref kicked her out. When the referee, of course, later was kicked out, Deonna Purrazzo gets involved, but Taylor Wilde showed up with the save to give Chelsea Green. Now, when we saw that Chelsea Green did the, that one move that Matt Cardona does, the one where he has the person on his back and knocked them out. I forget what they call that. But anyway, Chelsea Green thought she had it, but no. Mickie James kicked out, but apparently she picked up a good win when she applied the jackknife, and 1, 2, 3, it was over. Big disappointing loss from Chelsea Green, thinking that she had everything under her control, but much like what we saw with Mickie James, she decided she's going home. People already started talking, thinking, oh, she's on her way to WWE. No, guys, Chelsea Green already made it very clear recently that no one has talked to her. No one has said anything to her about any return to WWE. And plus, she already has 6 months of booking ahead of her. So that's what she says. So we'll find out soon enough of anything. But that's another story at a different time. Now, as you know, Steve Maclin has been unhappy with the results of how people are cutting in line for a chance to take on Josh Alexander. So he tried to go to Scott D'Amore, demanding that he deserves a much better opportunity, but D'Amore wasn't there. Tommy Dreamer even tries to tell him that, but of course, Maclin will view him that that he's only protecting Bully Ray. So that's one of the common things that have been going on. Now, our next match, we have Zicky Dice along with Swinger taking on Bully Ray, but they try to bring back the old ways of Bully Ray by taking out the table, but fortunately, he ended up with the Bully Bomb, and that ended there. But however, during the post-match, Moose shows up and low blow Bully Ray, but he decided to spear him through a table. Now, keep in mind, Moose does not like what Bully Ray has been doing. He's been trying to convince people that he is still the same scumbag that he is. But we'll just wait and see what happens. Now, Sami Callihan, as you know, he seems like he is intrigued by the new era of Violence by Design, but we'll see what happens because I'm sure he has something up his sleeve. Now, our main event, we have the Knockouts Championship, Giselle Shaw versus the champion, Jordan Grace. What a match. I think it was a really good performance on this level between them. You can tell that Giselle Shaw is determining to win this belt, but however, it took maybe a couple of tries to put Jordan Grace in, have Jordan Grace apply the Grace Driver, but finally she did apply that and allowing her to retain her title. But however, during the post match, she was viciously attacked by Masha Slamovich, who she became the unbeatable to the beatable. It looks more like Masha still has unfinished business with Jordan Grace, and she took her out completely by using chairs in her favor. So that's going to be interesting where they're going to go with it. So I think that's pretty much it with Impact. I believe right now we should move on to our last thing, which is news updates. All right, welcome to news updates. First things first, I want to say congratulations to Yoshi wrestler Yumi Ohka on her marriage. If you guys don't know who she is, she's a Yoshi wrestler and a promoter of the Yoshi promotion, Pro Wrestling Wave. Recently, she did say that she was going to be out, heading to Australia to get married, and it made no sense to me, but she posted on her Twitter page that she got married to a woman. So that means she is, a lesbian, which I have no problem with it. So, but I kind of wonder about, is same-sex marriages exist down in Japan? It turns out I did my research. No, it does not, but they do allow partnerships to take place in Japan. So if you're going to plan to get married, you may have to do that outside. I don't know who is Yumi Ohka's wife is, but all I can say, congratulations. Now, if you guys are big fans of Chris Brookes and Drew Parker, it was announced that they are going to do a self-produced show for them, celebrating their anniversaries. Chris Brookes has been in the business for 15 years. Drew Parker, 10 years. This will take place on the 13th of December, and it's going to take place at the Arena Shimoko Katsani. I think they're calling it Baku Gandhi and Friends. Still unclear who's going to be involved, but I'm sure it's going to be a good show, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wrestle Universe decides to broadcast this thing. So don't cut me out. Now, speaking of Pro Wrestling Waves, it was announced that on the 15th of November, which is this coming Tuesday, the tag team titles will be posted on the line. So we have Galaxy Punch, consistent of Hikari Shimizu and Saki. I'm going to presume Hikari Shimizu is on her way back. We'll be putting the titles on the line against Prominence members Akane Fujita and Risa Sera. So I think that's going to be a hell of a match. Now, for our GCW updates, as you know, we got more things taking place, announcements, matches, who's going to be booked. For the one afternoon only show that's going to be taking place on December 4th, it was announced that Effie will be in a match against Cold Radrick. And of course, it was the biggest news ever. We have announced Hijo del Vikingo from AAA will be making his debut in America's Most Wanted on the 16th of December. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to war against Gringo Loco, because Gringo Loco attacked them after his match at Triple Mania. So that's going to be great. Now, our last updates, as you know, Sendai Girls has announced a big, huge announcement. Former members of the NXT roster, especially the women, will be making their appearance as Sendai Girls. The first one is going to be Mina Samuels. This is going to be her debut. I'm very happy for her, as you know. Ever since NXT UK is no longer effective, I was surprised about that. But however, the other surprise of that, Millie McKenzie makes her return to Sendai Girls. Now, keep in mind, if you guys been watching NXT UK, she was like under the tutelage of Meiko Satomura. But prior, before going to NXT UK, Millie was in fact been going to Sendai Girls. She was trained with them, and I think that's a good thing. But this was added for the November 20th match in Korakuen Hall. We're gonna have Ryu Mizunami, Miyuki Takase, and Millie McKenzie teaming up against Aja Kong, the Lady Destroyer Hiroyo Matsumoto, and of course Mina Samuels. I have to say, this is going to be a killer matchup. I have to say, some matches applied for that particular day, it's going to be good. So I can't wait to see that. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for our news update. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we got AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. Now I haven't decided what I'm going to do before that, but I'll keep you guys surprised and make things a lot more funner for you guys. So stand by for that. And if there's anything news updates I would be throwing out, I'll be talking about that soon. But right now, let's just do what we have. So let's keep it that way. So for now, I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.